The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. Say, friends, Lum and Abner have asked me to remind you that we all have a big job on our hands these days making our country strong. Now, no matter how big or how small that job of yours is, it plays an important part in making the American way of life safe. Your job is mighty important to you, too, as an individual. So don't take any chances with it. Always be prepared for quick, pleasant relief for the headaches, the minor stomach upsets and muscular aches and pains, the fatigue that can so easily keep you from doing your best. Never be without a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets at your place of work as well as at home. With Alka-Seltzer handy, relief for so many common work disturbers can be yours on a moment's notice. Now, that's been the experience of thousands of other Americans, and what Alka-Seltzer has done for them, it can do for you, too. So on your way to work in the morning, stop in at your favorite drugstore and buy a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets. Many's the time you'll be thankful for your farsightedness. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Lum and Abner made an important discovery last week when Abner dropped the mysterious box that was left with them for safekeeping. They were told that the box only contained insurance papers, but the impact of the fall exposed a secret compartment, revealing a leather sack filled with diamonds. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner down at their new bank in the store, examining the contents of the box again. Listen.
You see there, every one of these insurance papers has got the same name on them. Malcolm Kilgore, Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, them insurance papers must not belong to the feller that brung that box in here, though, Lum, for his name was Devereaux. John Devereaux.
He said his name was John Devereaux.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Well, I mean, he just said that, maybe.
Huh?
That might have been a fictitious name. His name might be Malcolm Kilgore, alias John Devereaux.
Alice? That sounds like a woman's name.
I never said Alice, I said alias.
That still sounds like a woman's name to me. Alice Devereaux. I know a Alice Hatton that lives down there at Shady, and she's a woman. Her name is Alice Hatton.
Well, it must be.
Do you think that feller was a woman in disguise?
Of course not. The feller that left this box in here went over to Mose Moot's barber shop and had his mustache shaved off.
Yeah, well, that couldn't be Alice Hatton, 'cause she ain't got no mustache, I know. Never did have, as far as that goes. Always went clean shaved. There was a Alice in Wonderland, but that was a book.
I never said this feller's name was Alice. I said that John Devereaux might be a alias, like alias Jimmy Valentine.
Who's she?
It's a man. Jimmy Valentine was a crook. Or he was, till he met a nice young lady, and then he reformed himself, and they lived happy ever after.
Him and Alice, huh?
Alias Jimmy Valentine was his name. All crooks has got aliases. It's just a consumed name they use. Like your name's Abner Peabody, and if you was to call yourself Bill Fryer, that'd be an alias.
Oh, Whistling Bill Fryer?
No, not Whistling Bill Fryer.
Well, that's the only Bill Fryer I know. I wouldn't name myself after him, though, if I never changed it. What's wrong with the name I got?
I just said if you was to change your name, Abner, I don't care whether you change it or not.
Well, I could think up a whole lot better name than that for me, I'll tell you that. How about calling me, Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, he was a great man. Later died. You can call me that if you want to. Abraham.
All right, Abe.
Honest Abe, I believe.
Yeah, all right.
Suits me better.
Generally, when they have these aliases, they ain't very honest, though. Call themselves names like Dippy the Dope and Louis the Lug, names like that.
No. Well, let's see. I tell you, I'll call myself, Abner the Dope.
Well, that's a good name for you. Just suits you.
Well, good for me, Abner the Dope. What you gonna call yourself, Lum?
I ain't gonna call myself nothing.
Oh, you ought to have some kind of a name. Let's see, Lum the Loon. Or Lum the Louse. That's a good one.
What are you wasting your time trying to think up names for? We ain't trying to name nobody.
Well, what are we doing?
Well, we started out talking about this fella that come in here and left this box with us for safekeeping. There's something funny about that name of his.
Well, I don't think it's as funny as Abner the Dope. Abner the Dope. That's a good one. Abner the Dope.
There's something mighty funny about this whole thing. A feller comes into town, has his mustache shaved off, and brings this box over here. Tells us there ain't nothing in it but insurance papers. And he says his name's John Devereaux. And these insurance papers is made out to Malcolm Kilgore.
Yeah, he's all mixed up there, Summers.
Says the box ain't got nothing valuable in it, but gives us $5 to take care of it for him. Then later we find out the box has got a secret drawer in it with a sack full of diamonds. I believe the feller's a crook, running under a consumed name.
What, do you think we ought to turn this box of stuff over to the police?
Well, I don't know what to do about it. See, we ain't supposed to know what's in the box. I don't want to get us in no trouble. We might have violated the law by looking in it.
Well, we never looked. I just dropped it on the floor and the drawer come out. We couldn't help but see it.
Them diamonds is more'n likely stole.
Huh?
I tell you, I might just wait till he comes back after that box and give him the 3rd degree.
Give him the what?
The 3rd degree. You know, where you set a feller down in a chair and ask him a batch of questions, turn bright lights in his face and slap him to keep him awake and make him think you're going to torture him.
Oh, you mean initiate him in the lodge?
Lodge?
Yeah, but you can't do that, though, Squire Skimp is a Grand Supreme Royal Owl. He has to do that.
I know who's the head of the lodge.
And you'll have to get all the members to vote on him first, too. I don't believe they'll vote for no stranger.
I ain't asking nobody to vote for him.
But you better, or they'll sure blackball him. They turned old Snake Hogan down. That ballot box looked like a coal bin again they got done voting on him.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Of course, now, you're well thought of over there at the lodge, Lum. And I believe if you got up and made a speech for him, and told the fellers what a fine man he is, why, they might pass him just on your say-so.
I don't know nothing about the feller.
Well, you could tell him about him driving a big automobile and dresses himself nice, appears to have plenty of money. Tell him about all these diamonds he left over here.
Yeah, I could do that. Or wait a minute. I ain't going to make no speech about him. I think the feller's a crook.
What you trying to get him in the lodge for, then?
I ain't trying to get him in the lodge. I said we'd give him the 3rd degree when he comes back after that box.
Oh, initiate him first. Yeah, that's a good idea. Then they'll have to let him in or he'll tell all the secrets, yeah.
Abner, when I said 3rd degree, I meant we'd set him down in a chair.
And turn on electricity. That'll make him jump every time. I never will forget old Moe's Moot tonight they initiated him. Jump, I never
Wait a
seen
minute, here comes Squire Skimp. I bound you he's still wanting to borrow some money.
Yeah, you can talk to him about John Devereaux, or Alice, or whatever his name is.
Talk to him about him.
Yeah, about getting him in the lodge. Feel him out about it, sort of.
Oh, for goodness sake, forget about the lodge. Howdy, Squire.
Yeah, howdy, Squire.
Come in, come in.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. How are my old friends today?
Oh, just only tolerably, Squire. How's yourself?
Oh, fine, Lum, fine. Just sold Cedric a big insurance policy a while ago.
Cedric?
Yes. Sold him a $50,000 tornado and flood policy on him and his car both.
Tornado and flood?
Now, don't look at me, Lum. I called the whole list off to him, and those were the 2 that he selected.
Well, it ain't none of my business. I just wondering what he wanted with.
Well, that I consider none of my business, Lum. Abner, hand me a can of that tobacco over there. I knew there was something I stopped in here for.
Yeah, sure, Squire.
Just set it down on the books. I don't seem to have any change with me.
Well,
That's all right, Abner. Go ahead.
I know it. I well-ud about something else. Here's your tobacco, Squire.
Oh, yes, thank you, Abner.
Squire, how do you feel about new members over at the lodge?
Oh, my goodness.
New members? Why, yes, we could use some new members over there. Who'd you have in mind, Abner?
Well, Lum's got somebody he'd like to get in.
I ain't got nobody, Squire. He don't know what he's talking about.
Don't you know, Lum? Alice John Devereaux.
Alice? A woman? Why, Lum, you know we don't allow any women in our lodge.
I know that. This ain't no woman, and I don't want him in the lodge, and his name ain't Alice.
What's that, Lum?
It's either John Devereaux or, let's see here again, Malcolm Kilgore. I don't know which it is.
What are those, insurance policies, Lum?
Yeah, see, we've been keeping...
Why, you haven't been buying insurance from somebody else, have you, Lum? Why, I could have made you a special rate. Let me see that. Malcolm Kilgore, Kansas City, Missouri. Where did this come from?
Oh, it's some stuff a feller left here for safekeeping the other day.
Well, sir, I used to know Malcolm Kilgore back in Tonganoxie, Kansas. Later moved to Kansas City, Missouri. Last I heard of him, he'd married the daughter of the Barringtons, rich oil people there in Kansas City. You've heard of them, I guess.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, yes, very prominent people back there, socially. I noticed a picture of one of the Mrs. Barringtons in the magazine section of one of the Kansas City Sunday papers here a while back. Seemed that she'd bought a famous collection of diamonds, crown jewels of some little country. Quite a big write-up about it. One very famous stone, the Maca diamond, I believe they called it, weighed, I've forgotten how many carats.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
Anyway, this Malcolm Kilgore that I knew married into that family. Probably isn't the same fella at all, though. Well, I'll better be getting on back over the place. I'll see you fellas later.
Yeah, all right, Squire.
Good day.
Good day. So long.
So long.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. Did you hear that, Abner?
Huh?
Squire never knowed how much information he's given us then. This might be that famous collection of diamonds right here in this box.
Yeah, I can see now where you was right.
Where I was right.
Yes, sir. I'll vote for him any time you bring his name up, Lum. I think he'll make a good member for the lodge.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. All of you listeners who are well acquainted with Lum and Abner know that Lum is famous for his very active imagination. But even Lum, for all of his imagination, admits that he can't exaggerate when it comes to talking about the kind of relief that Alka-Seltzer offers for acid indigestion. Lum says that the only way a person can appreciate just how effective Alka-Seltzer can be is to try it. And that's the truth, friends. Words can't begin to describe how much better Alka-Seltzer can help you feel when acid indigestion causes you discomfort. Now, there's a sound scientific reason why Alka-Seltzer is so effective. But I don't think you're especially interested in that. For what you want to know is, can it really relieve my acid indigestion? And the answer to that is yes. Try it and see. You can get Alka-Seltzer at all drugstores, by the package, and also by the glass at the soda fountain. Remember, when you take Alka-Seltzer for acid indigestion, you'll feel better fast. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Lum and Abner accidentally discovered a small sack of diamonds in a secret compartment of a box of insurance papers, which a stranger left with him for safekeeping. The old fellows now have reason to believe the diamonds are part of a famous collection owned by a Mrs. Barrington of Kansas City, and they fear they might have been stolen. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum alone at the store. Abner is just entering. Listen.
Where in the world have you been?
I've been out looking for you.
You walked right out and left the store wide open, too.
Well, we always do. Just let folks jot down on that pad there what they take.
That's the way they used to do. Can't leave the door wide open with this bank in here. Liable to come back someday and find where somebody has took $1,000 out of the safe and jotted it down on the pad.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got sort of worried about you. You never showed up.
Well, I got a chance to ride into the county seat with Cedric, and I just got back about a half hour ago.
What'd you go into the county seat for?
I wanted to get a Kansas City paper to see if I could find anything in the paper about them diamonds being stolen.
Oh, what all does it say about them?
Don't say nothing. Leastways, I can't find it.
Well, it looks like if they'd been stole, they'd have had something there in a paper about it.
Well, it's been several days since that feller left that box with the diamonds in it here for safekeeping. Might have been a week or so before they were stole.
Yeah, Well, I don't know why you keep thinking they're stole anyway, Lum.
Just because the feller said there wasn't nothing but insurance papers in the box. And we found out later them diamonds was in it.
Yeah.
And he said his name was John Devereaux, and them insurance papers is all made out to Malcolm Kilgore.
Well, that still ain't no proof that he stole them.
No, but it sure looks like it. Squire Skimp said he knowed a feller by the name of Malcolm Kilgore that married into the Barrington family in Kansas City.
I know, I heard him.
And he said he read in the paper a while back where Mrs. Barrington had bought a famous collection of diamonds.
Yeah.
So, putting two and two together and adding it up careful, it looks to me like Mr. Devereaux, or Kilgore, or whatever his name is, has run off with his mother-in-law's jewelry.
Well, if you think he stole them, well, maybe we ought to call the police and tell them what we got out here.
No, I've been thinking about that, Abner. We ain't supposed to know what's in that box, you know.
Wait, huh?
We might get ourselves in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And another thing, if they are a famous collection of diamonds, there'll be a big reward offered for 'em. Now, grannies, we can just keep it quiet till we hear something about it.
Doggies, I never thought about that.
Oh, yeah. I taken out a subscription for the Kansas City paper so we can be on the lookout for it.
You say there weren't nothing in there about no robbery at all in that paper you got there?
No, I looked all through it.
What, did you look in the lost and found columns?
Why, no, silly. They don't put nothing about a robbery in the lost and found column.
Well, maybe they weren't stolen. She might have just lost them.
Look, I hadn't thought about that.
Why, sure she might
Let me
have.
look here. Yeah. Here's a classified section. I think that's the same thing.
Well, if they're lost, I know they'll give a reward to get them back. They always do. Says so in there.
Real estate for sale.
Huh?
For rent.
Which?
Both.
Oh.
Musical instruments. Lost and found. Here it is. Lost. One Irish setter.
Irish setter?
That's what it says here.
Don't reckon that's old Pat O'Fallon, do you? All he did for years is sit there in front of Dick Huddleston's store and whittle and argue politics.
No, I don't reckon it's Pat. Lost, strayed, or stole. 3-year-old Mexican hairless. Answers to the name of Poochie.
For goodness sakes. Well, that's a shame, ain't it?
Yeah, they'll more likely find him, though.
Well, he might have run off. Reckon how he lost all his hair so quick.
So quick.
It says he's just 3-year-old on it.
They're born that way.
I know it, Lum, but you'd think a kid 3-year-old have some hair. Generally, them Mexican children's got a thick head of hair, right, Black?
Wait a minute. You don't think they're talking about a little boy, do you? Says answers to the name of Poochie.
That's a boy's name, ain't it?
Poochie's a dog's name.
Well, no wonder the kid run off then. Give him a dog's name that way. Maybe he got mad and tore his hair all out. I would.
This is a dog they're talking about, Abner. Mexican hairless is a dog from Mexico.
Oh, doggies, he is lost if he's strayed clean up to Kansas City. He's a long ways from home.
The dog more than likely lives in Kansas City. That's his home.
What's he going around saying he's lost for then?
He more than likely strayed away from home.
Oh, yeah, heading back for Mexico, I reckon. Doggies, I bound you that bald head would get kind of cold up there around Kansas City.
They're not bald-headed, Abner. They get that name because they ain't got no hair at all. They're a hairless dog.
Well, I'll be dead blamed. Doggies, I'd love to see one. Make a good squirrel dog for around here, wouldn't it? Squirrels would all come out on a limb just to look at him. You could just pop them off one at a time.
I don't see a thing in here about no diamonds. Grannies, I still believe they're stole, though.
Well, why don't you ride her and ask her, Lum?
Yeah, I could do that, I reckon. Don't have to tell her we've got 'em.
Why, no.
Just tell her we heard she's got a famous collection of diamonds and ask her if she's lost 'em.
Sure. I believe that's the best thing to do. For if we keep stole property here and don't say nothing about it, well, we're just might nigh as guilty as the robbers.
That's right, ain't it? That's access to a crime.
Sure it is.
Believe I'll call Squire Skimp and ask him what her husband does, or if he'd know where to address a letter so's I could reach him.
Yeah, Squirrel know, yeah.
I don't know where Squire will be home this time of day or not.
Oh, he don't come out till the sun gets lower. Long in the shank of the evening when it gets cool, he stays there in the house. Reckon how much reward she's offering, Lum?
I don't know, Evan. I don't even know for sure they're her diamonds. Hello, Squire.
If it's $10,000,
Why, this is Lum.
40 cents.
Yeah, you know, you was talking yesterday about seeing an article in the paper a while back about this Miss Barrington from Kansas City buying a famous collection of diamonds.
Give me a 40-cent knife.
Well, do you know how I could get in touch with Mr. Barrington and what kind of business he's in? Oh, she is. Uh-huh. Well. Uh-huh. Oh, nothing. I just thought I'd write and ask her something about it. Uh-huh.
Talk all day on the phone.
Well, what's her give name or her initials? J. Simpson Barrington, huh?
All he does.
And you think just Kansas City will get her all right, huh? Well, it ought to if they're that well known in town.
He might have
All right, Squire. Much obliged to you. Yeah, all right. Goodbye. Miss J. Simpson Barrington.
Uh-oh.
He says he thinks she's a widow woman, 'cause that article said the wife of the late J. Simpson Barrington.
Well, just 'cause a feller's late getting someplace, that don't mean he's dead, does it?
No, but they generally say that when somebody's passed on that way.
Oh, dogged, I'm going to start getting places on time.
He says he thinks if I just address the letter to her at Kansas City, she'll get it all right.
She will, huh?
Says they're awful prominent people. Riches bottom land.
Hey, dogged, we might get a good reward out of this. You know what, Lum?
Widow woman, huh? Be funny if her and me was...
Huh?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking.
What?
Oh, sounds silly. But it would be funny.
What would be funny?
Well, I was just thinking if I was to rescue her diamonds for her and she'd fall in love with me over it and me and her'd get married.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see her now, sitting up there in that great big house so lonesome she can't hardly stand herself.
Poor little thing.
Bounty, she's beautiful, too. I can see her now. Big blue eyes and golden curls hanging down her back in braids.
Braids hanging down her back? Why, you know she's older than that, Lum.
That's right, ain't it? More likely you got a updo now. That's the latest thing in a woman's haircut, or style, or whatever you call it.
Well, you never did see her. How do you know what she looks like?
I can picture what she looks like, Kena. More oil wells than she knows what to do with.
Oil wells?
And don't you know, Squire said yesterday they was rich oil people?
Oh, yeah.
That'd automatically make me president of them. L. Eddard's Oil Company. L. Eddard's president. I can see that name going by on oil cars on freight trains right now. Long trains of them. L. Eddard's Oil Company. L. Eddard's Oil Company. L. Eddard's Oil Company. L. Eddard's Oil Company.
Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe.
What's that?
Boxcar lumber just went by.
For goodness sake. Feller try to talk serious and you want to josh about it.
Well, Lum, you're making a plumb goose out of yourself, falling in love with somebody you never have even saw.
I never said I was falling in love with her. But if she wants to think I'm a hero for finding them diamonds and fall in love with me, I ain't going to let all that money she's got stand in the way.
No. Well, if you're going to write the letter, let's get started and mail it this afternoon. I'm anxious to get that reward.
Well, we can't send a letter this afternoon. I can't get no picture developed in that length of time.
Picture?
Yeah, I was just thinking she might think we was the ones that stole them diamonds. I think I better put a picture of myself in the letter, standing in front of that sign out there in front. Pine Ridge United Bank. L. Eddard's president.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
Well. What do you know about that? The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner.
Now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Lum and Abner are convinced in their own minds that the diamonds left in their possession for safekeeping are the stolen property of a Mrs. J. Simpson Barrington of Kansas City, Missouri. Lum wrote her day before yesterday, advising her that they now have the diamonds, and after learning that she's a wealthy widow, enclosed a picture of himself in the letter, hoping to ignite a spark of romance. As we look in on the old fellows today, we find them down at their combination jot-em-down store in Pine Ridge United Bank. Lum can hardly wait for an answer to his letter. Listen.
Look out the window there, Abner, and see if the mail carrier's car's in front of Dick Hudson's store yet.
I just looked a minute ago and they weren't in yet.
Well, it ain't going to hurt you to look. All right, I'll look.
I'll do it, but I get nothing.
Laziest one humming I ever seen in my life.
Well, I've looked 100 times. No, he ain't there. Snake Hogan's horse is tied out there in front. That's the only humming around there.
Granny, he's late today.
Well, what are you so anxious for the mail carrier to get you for?
I'd just like to see the U.S. government mail delivered on time, so.
Oh, I know now.
You know what?
Why you're so anxious for the mail to get here?
If you think I'm expecting an answer from the letter I wrote Miss Barrington in Kansas City, you're crazy.
Well, you ain't had time to hear from it yet, Lum.
I have done it. She got my letter yesterday, and if she'd have writ right back, I'd have an answer in here today.
Yeah, but if them ain't her diamonds we got in the safe, why, she might not answer at all.
Well, I sent her a picture of myself. She ain't going to just dig nowhere, that is she?
Did you ever write your name on that picture?
No. What?
Well, I just wondered if she'd know who it was.
Well, natural. She'll know it's me. I wouldn't be sending her a picture of somebody else in my letter, would I?
No, I just happened to think, though, maybe you ought to have wrote your name on it someplace, or told her in the letter who it was, or something.
Well, I started to autograph it. That's what they call it when you write your name on them that way. But I never knowed what to say, hardly.
Well, you know your name, don't you?
Well, you can't just write your name on a picture. You got to say something nice on it. Like, to my loved one, or Happy Valentine, or Happy Birthday, something like that.
Was yesterday her birthday?
Not that I know of.
Oh. If you was to put to my Valentine on there, she might think it's one of them comic Valentines.
See if the mailman's there yet.
Oh, for goodness sake, that's all I do. No, Snake Hogan's horse is even gone now.
Granny, that would be a coincidence if she was to fall in love with that picture and want to marry me, wouldn't it?
Well, Lum, you never have even saw her. Maybe you wouldn't want to marry her.
And her with all them oil wells?
You mean that you'd just marry her for her money?
No, but with all that money, she could fix herself up to where she's bound to look good. Go to a beauty saloon every day and get manicures and her hair frizzed. Use a lot of artificial flavoring and coloring on herself. She'll be pretty. I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, but maybe you couldn't get along with her.
Anybody that rich I can get along with, I'll tell you that. I don't believe she could make me mad.
Well, it's your business. I know in reason, though, you wouldn't like it up there with all them society folks. You wouldn't know how to act around them, Lum.
That's what I'm learning right now. What I've been reading this book for. Book on etiquette and manners.
Is that what you've been reading all morning? I thought it was some love story.
No, sir. I'm going to be ready just in case she looks at that picture and writes me to come up there. For instance, I was just reading here. Here. About meeting folks. You don't shake hands with women.
What do you do with them?
Nothing. Just bow and say, how do you do?
Well, I do know. Well, what do you say shake hands for?
You don't say it.
Well, I do, too. If I was over at a picnic and was to want to introduce Elizabeth to somebody to... Let's see, who should I introduce her to? She knows everybody in town.
It don't make no difference. Jim Blevins.
Oh, she knows Jim.
That's all right.
Well, he'll think I'm crazy as long as he's knowed her if I was to try to introduce him. I'll introduce her to Albert Dishroom. She ain't met him yet, I don't think.
All right, Albert Dishroom. Now, how would you go about introducing him? I'll show you. You don't have to use that shake hands.
Well, I'd just say, Albert, shake hands with my woman. And he'd grab her hand, pump it up and down a time or two. They both stand there and look at their feet for a while. Finally, he'd say, proud to know you, Miss Peabody, or something like that. And Elizabeth, she'd get embarrassed and stand there and twist and squirm. And finally, I'd tell her to go on to the wagon. I'd be there in a few minutes, or something polite like that. That's all there are to it.
No, they've got new rules on that now. Proper thing to do is to say, Mr. Dishroom, may I present Miss Peabody to you?
Present her to him? Not with Elizabeth. You'd have to run her down and catch her. She'd think I'd give her away.
Well, that's the way you're supposed to do it anyway. They got a lot of new rules now.
Well,
Got to get up out of your chair when a woman comes in the room.
Well, I do know. Get up, give 'em an even chance, and then race 'em first, huh?
You got to take off your hat when you go in the house.
Well, I do that. Take off my hat. I wear it here in the store, but when I go home, I don't. I go home for dinner at noon and hang my hat right on the back of my chair all while I'm eating.
Here's the interesting thing here. If you walk up to a woman you've met before and you don't think she recollects you, you take off your hat and say, "Aren't you Merle Grannis?" Merle says yes and waits for an explanation.
Wait for what?
For you to explain. And you say, "I think my sister Millicent Blackwell is a friend of yours." Merle at once offers her hand and smilingly says, "Are you George or Elliot?" And you say, "I'm Elliot."
What in the world are you talking about, Long?
Whereupon Merle says, "Hello, Elliot."
I don't never let her know no different, huh?
Well, that's just an example.
Well, if she starts calling me Elliot, then, why, ought I to answer and just let on like that's my name?
Abner, this is just... Wait a minute. There's Cedric coming in. Howdy, Cedric.
Yeah, come in, Cedric.
Well, howdy.
What can we do for you?
Oh, not nothing, I don't reckon. Just sort of loafing around.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, Cedric, Mr. Weehunt, may I present my friend and business associate, Mr. Peabody?
Oh, well, I done know Mr. Abner here.
Elliot's my name. Now, do you know my sister, Millicent?
No, Mom, I never even knowed you had no sister.
Oh, yeah, she's a friend of Merle's. Ain't she, Long?
Don't be winking at me, Abner.
How's that for fooling him?
Oh, one too goodness.
Well, ain't that... Uh-oh, there goes the mail carrier.
Well, good. Run over there and see if he's got a letter for me, Abner.
Well, go get it yourself.
I've got to stay here in the bank. Somebody come in here and want to cash a check. Hurry up. Won't take you but a minute to run across there.
Well, all right. I'll be right back, Cedric. I want to talk to you.
Yes, Mom. Has Mr. Abner got a sister here in town showing up, Mr. Lum?
No. He was just talking, Cedric. I've been reading to him out of this book of manners, and he's all mixed up.
Book of what?
Manners. Learns you how to act.
Oh, you going to be in a play?
No, not play acting. So you'll know how to behave yourself in society. Like in Kansas City. Don't say nothing about it, Cedric, but I might be moving in a few days.
Moving?
Yeah, I might have to go to Kansas City to live. Did you ever hear of the Barrington Oil Company?
No, Mom, I don't much believe I ever did.
Well, anyway, don't say nothing about it, but I might be president of it before long. Change it to the L. Edwards Oil Company.
Well, is it yours now?
No, not yet, but see, I'm liable to marry into the family any day now. Waiting on a letter.
You're going to get married, Mr. Lum? I never even knowed you sparking anybody.
Well, it ain't generally knowed, Cedric. Fact is, I never have saw her, but I got her pictured in my mind. She's beautiful, Cedric. Big blue eyes, long golden curls hanging down her back, rosy jawed.
She sure sounds pretty.
Oh, yeah. When a body waits as long as I have to get married, the minute your dream girl comes along, you know it, Cedric. Love at first sight, you might call it. I heard about her, and she seen my picture in a letter, and that's how our romance started.
Oh, matrimonial bureau, huh?
No. She's a widow woman. Her man passed on and left her with all that money.
Oh, that's too bad, ain't it?
Too bad?
Yes, Mom, him dying.
Oh, yeah. Thought you meant about the money. Yeah, it's a shame. Nice young woman like her left alone in the wait.
Hi, Doggy, you got it, Long. Here it is, right here.
Huh?
A postcard for you from Kansas City. She's coming down here, Long.
Well, what do you know about that? That picture of me done the work, didn't it?
Coming Saturday. She says she's just going to be here 2 days, though. Says something about an engagement. I couldn't make it out.
Well, here, don't be reading my mail.
Oh, well, that's as far as I got.
Hand it here. Granted. Coming to Pine Ridge Saturday for a 2-day engagement. Direct from Kansas City. Rough Rider and his mammoth rodeo. Bucking, bronco riding, and calf roping.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Lum still believes that the diamonds they discovered in the mysterious box left with them a few days ago are part of the famous collection owned by a Mrs. Barrington of Kansas City, Missouri. He wrote Mrs. Barrington a letter several days ago advising her that they had the stones and is quite upset because he has not received an answer. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner down at their Jot 'em Down store. Listen.
Well, what time does a train leave, Lum?
Leaves the county seat at 5 o'clock this afternoon and gets in Kansas City early in the morning.
Well, you're going to have to do some juning around, then. It's nearly 3 o'clock right now.
Well, I don't want to leave till the mailman gets here. If I get a letter from Miss Barrington, I may not have to go. I'll have plenty of time if the mailman ain't late.
Yeah.
Got my hand satchel all packed over there, and Cedric's going to drive me into the county seat.
Well, I knowed the minute I seen you walk in with that valise in your hand that you was heading out for Kansas City.
How did you know it? I might have been going in the other direction, Texarkana or someplace like that.
Yeah, but I knowed. Ever since Squire told you about Miss Barrington being a rich widder, why, you've just been busting to see her.
I ain't going just to see her. I'm going to take them diamonds to her.
Well, looks to me like if she's interested in getting them back, she'd have answered your letter.
She might not have got the letter. The only address we had was just Miss J. Simpson Barrington, Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't find her without no street number on there. I'm going up there and look till I find her.
Well, now, I wouldn't just hand her them diamonds till you know for sure they belong to her.
I ain't going to. I'll tell her the whole story, how we got 'em and all. Tell her about a feller coming in here, called himself John Devereaux.
Yeah, that's his name, John Devereaux.
Wanted to leave a tin box with some insurance papers in it, with us for safekeeping.
Yeah, well, how you going to tell her we found out that box had that secret drawer in it with them diamonds in there?
I'll just tell her how it happened. Tell her you accidentally dropped it and the drawer come out.
Yeah, well, I just never want her to think that we was breaking into the box just to see what was in it.
Well, I ain't worried about her. I just don't want that feller John Devereaux to find out we know about him.
No.
He's going to be mad enough to bite if he comes back here for that box and finds out we've done turned the diamonds over to Miss Barrington.
Well, can he lawsuit us for that long?
No, not if he stole them from her. That's the reason I'm anxious to talk to Miss Barrington and find out if the diamonds were stole before he gets back.
Yeah. He said he might not come back himself. Said he might send that receipt that we give him by somebody else, and we could just turn the box over to whoever handed us the receipt.
Well, regardless of who comes after it, I want to find out if they're stole first.
Yeah, well, what if he comes after the box while you're gone, though?
Right. Granny's, I hadn't thought about that. Well, that'll just be a chance you have to take, Abner.
I'll have to take.
Well, you'll be the only one here to try to explain where the diamonds is at.
Oh, my goodness. That's another thing. Well, here, maybe I better go to Kansas City with you, Lum, and help you find her.
Oh, we can't do that, Abner. Can't just close the store and the bank up. I might have to be gone for several days.
Well, now, if that feller's mean enough to steal them diamonds in the first place, well, I no telling what he'll do if he finds out we took them out of that box. There's liable to be some to shoot at.
I tell you, when I leave, we'll close that vault door and lock it. And if he comes back for the box while I'm gone, you can just tell him the president of the bank's out of town and you don't know the combination.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell him. That's a good idea.
I'd rather get a letter from her today, then we'd know where we stood.
Yeah, well, she's had plenty of time to answer your letter.
Granny, I reckon she's so busy taking care of all them oil wells, she just ain't had time to sit down and write.
Yeah, more than likely comes in of a night just too tired out to write.
Oh, she don't run the oil wells herself, silly.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's got all the business to look after. That's the reason she ought to have a husband. Somebody to tend to them things for her.
Yeah, before she loses everything she's got. Women folks ain't got no business, Judge, man. I bound you, she's just a regular rattlebrain.
Well, now, mind out, Abner. You're talking about the woman I love there.
Love? Why, you ain't never seen her.
No, but she's seen me. Or a picture of me, anyway. Put that picture in the letter I wrote her. And, well, it just happened. Love's like that. Cupid starts shooting them bows and arrows at you, and you're just a goner.
You better wait till you get a look at her. I bound you, she's ugly as a mud fence.
Abner, now you just hush up that kind of talk. You may be making slighting remarks about the future Miss Edders. Miss Edders. That sounds sort of funny, don't it? Miss Edders. Reckon how many oil wells she's got?
I don't know. Squire said she's rich, so...
Funny how fate steps in and brings folks together this way. A week ago, I never even had heard of Miss Barrington.
No, and I ain't heard of nothing else since. Miss Barrington, Miss Barrington, Miss Barrington.
Now, look, Abner, if you and her can't get along, we're going to have to unsolve partnerships.
Can't get along? Why, I don't even know the woman.
No, but you keep picking on her, making slighting remarks.
All right, I won't mention her name again.
Be nice to her, and maybe we'll give you oil well. We've got any extra ones. Make you assistant manager. That way I can spend some time fishing.
Fishing?
Yeah, go up there to the lake, get old Paul Warner, and catch fish. Or that is, I'll catch 'em. Paul couldn't catch a fish in a net.
Why, he used to be pretty good at it.
Oh, he made his brags about what a fisherman he was. I found out it was just a lot of conversation.
Well,
looks like as much as me and him has fished together, he'd sort of catch on to how I do it. Some folks are just natural-born fishermen, though, and others just look like never do learn it.
Well, I ain't trying to start no argument with you, Lum, but that sounds a little like conversation, too. I noticed at a time or two that you went without him and never brung back no fish.
Just the signs was wrong was all. Nobody was catching nothing, and just wasn't biting.
Well, personal, I've always thought Paul was a pretty good fisherman. If you can keep him in the boat. He gets excited and walks right out into the water. That's his trouble.
Yeah, I had to drag him out once. I think he gets so aggravated because he can't catch him, he just dives in the water after the fish.
More than likely what a retriever, that's what he is.
Oh, he gets mad. I'll pull in a big bass, and he just sits there and pouts. Won't even talk.
Wait a minute. There comes Cedric. I reckon he's ready to go.
Oh, yeah, the mail carrier must be in then. I told him to stay over to Dick Huddleston's store till they sorted the mail.
Oh.
Strange, he ain't got no letter in his hand, neither.
No?
Come in, Cedric.
Yeah, howdy, Cedric.
Mail carrier's in, Mr. Lum, but there wasn't no letter for you.
Not a thing, huh?
No, Mom.
Well, I guess I'll go to Kansas City then, Abner. You got plenty of gasoline in your car, Cedric?
Yes, Mom. Filled her up a while ago.
Well, I'll pay you for your expense. You get your car and bring it over here to the store, and I'll be ready by the time you get back.
Yes, Mom.
You better get a move on, too, now, Cedric. You ain't got a whole lot of time before that train leaves.
I'll be right back.
Doggies, I wished I was going with you, Lum.
Well, I wish you could, Abner. If we had somebody to take care of the store here, we would.
Yeah, Dad, blame me.
Well, here, I better get them diamonds out of that box and put them in my hand satchel.
Yeah.
I'll just leave the tin box with them insurance papers right there in the safe.
Yeah, well, now, lock that vault door, and I'll just tell everybody I don't know the combination.
Yeah. Will you call in there to Depot, Abner, and get me a reserve seat on number 4?
Reserve seat?
Whatever they call it. Bed's what I'm on.
Oh.
I set up the last time I made that trip, and wasn't nobody to talk to but the news butch, and I bought about twice as much stuff off of him as a bed would have cost me.
Yeah. Just tell him that you want a bed, huh?
Yeah, on the Pullman car.
Oh, yeah.
Berth, they call it. Upper berth I want.
Hello? Mamie? Ring the depot for me in there at the county seat. All right. Hello? Is this the depot? Well, I want to buy a bed on that northbound train this afternoon. Yeah, for Lum Abner. Or upper. What kind of ticket? What's that? Oh, of course not. Just a ticket to Kansas City and back. You don't care whether it's round or square. Well, he'll be in there before long after it. Cedric's going to drive him in. I say Cedric's going to drive him in. From here, he's out here in Pine Ridge. Uh-huh. No, the ticket's for Lum and Abner. Cedric is just going to drive him in his car. You ain't interested in what? Oh, just so he gets there, huh? Say, do you get to ride on them trains free for nothing? I say, hello? Thought I was through, I reckon. Yeah. Lum, he said they'd hold it for you.
Well, good. I got that sack of diamonds in here now.
Well, now, you watch that satchel, Lum.
I will, don't you worry. I'm going to carry this satchel right in my hand all the time. You look after the store good now.
Oh, I will.
Here comes Cedric walking. No, that ain't Cedric.
I don't know who that is.
Some drummer, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just tell him we don't need nothing.
Yeah. Now, come in, sir.
Yeah, how do you do, sir? What can we do for you?
I'm looking for Mr. Edwards.
Yes, sir, right here. That's my name.
Well, here, this note will explain it.
Oh, to me, huh?
From Miss Barrington.
Hush up, Abner. Please deliver to the bearer of this note the box of valuables I left in your safe deposit vault. Signed, John Devereaux.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Little did Lum and Abner realize how complicated things might become when a stranger by the name of John Devereaux left a tin box with them for safekeeping. When Lum and Abner discovered the box contained a sack of diamonds, they were certain they must be stolen. Believing them to belong to a Mrs. J. Simpson Barrington in Kansas City, they had removed the jewels from the box when a representative of Mr. Devereaux's called for the box last Friday. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner over at Lum's house, hiding out. Listen.
Well, Lum, we can't just leave the store closed up all the time. We're going to lose all the business we got. Had it closed all day Saturday and all day today.
Well, if you want to go down there and open it up, go right ahead.
No, I don't want to go down there by myself.
You talk like it.
Well, I don't. I'll tell you, not by myself.
That's all you've talked about for days. Why don't we open up the store? I don't want to go down there by myself or with somebody.
And you've been so nervous and jumpy since you give that fella that box last Friday that you got me scared now.
Well, you better be scared. You're into this as much as me. We broke the law is what we done.
Broke the law?
Why, sure. That feller Devereaux left the box there in our bank for safekeeping. We ain't supposed to take nothing out of there.
Well, when we give that fella the box Friday, well, he never looked to see whether diamonds was in there or not.
No, but they'll find out they ain't in there when he gives the box to Mr. Devereaux. What I'm scared of, they'll think we stole them and come down here and start shooting before they ask any questions.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we weren't stealing them. You was going to take them to Miss Barrington up there in Kansas City.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell him that. I already had them in my hand satchel.
Yeah.
Besides, I didn't want to give them back till I found out if they'd been stolen or not.
Oh, well, they bound to have been stole diamonds, Lum. He told us they were just insurance papers in that box. And we found the diamonds in that little old secret drawer there.
Yeah, well, I could tell that feller Devereaux was a crook the minute he come in the bank there. And when I found out Miss Barrington in Kansas City had a fine collection of diamonds, I knowed in reason it was hers.
Yeah, but they might not be hers. You wrote her a letter and told her we had them, and we never have heard from her.
Well, I've been thinking she might not have got my letter. I believe I'd have heard from her one way or the other. For if the diamonds ain't hers, I enclosed a picture of myself in the letter, and I believe she'd at least seen that and answered my letter.
Yeah, but you never said who it was a picture of, though. You forgot to write on it.
Well, she's bound to know it's me. I put it in my letter.
Yeah. That still ain't no reason for her to just turn around and write you a letter, though.
I don't know. I believe this is going to be a case of love at first sight, Abner.
Well, you're going around saying you're in love with her, Lum. You ain't never even saw a picture of her.
No, but Squire Skimp was telling me all about her.
All he told you was that she was rich, had a lot of oil wells.
Yeah, but I know the minute I heard of her, she was my dream girl.
Pretty proud.
Love at first sight. Or love at first hearing about, I guess you'd call it.
Well, I wished I'd never heard about her or the diamonds, neither one. I never knowed a feller could get in so much trouble just holding something for safekeeping.
Yeah.
Here we got a store and a bank down there, and we can't open up either one of them, feared we'll get shot.
Yeah, it's bad, all right.
Well, what are we going to do if somebody wants to get a check cashed?
Oh, they can get checks cashed around the stores.
Well, the depositor is going to see that place closed up and start thinking the bank went busted, and they'll demand their money.
That's right, ain't it?
Why, of course they
thought
do.
about that. Maybe we can put on a disguise and go down there tomorrow and open up.
Disguise?
Yeah, and if that feller Devereaux does come back, maybe he won't know us. Put on long whiskers and stuff like that.
That's the trouble. Nobody else will know us neither. Folks around here see a couple of strangers with whiskers and stuff like that in there in the bank, while they are going to want their money back, sure enough.
What are you trying to do? Get this thing to where there ain't no way out of it at all?
Well, I don't see why we don't just turn the diamonds over to the police and have it over with.
Because I want to be the one that saves Miss Barrington's diamonds for her. And she'll think I'm a hero and fall in love with me.
Well, that Mr. Devereaux comes back here looking for the diamonds, why, there might be a funeral develop out of this instead of a wedding.
Yeah, then she could fall in love with me sure enough if she knowed I died to save them.
Well, that ain't going to do you no good.
That's right, ain't it?
Why, no.
Maybe I ought to take 'em on up there to her.
Well, now, wait a minute. You ain't going to leave me down here to face them fellers by myself.
Well, you can go along as my bodyguard.
Who's going to guard my body?
Well, we can guard one another's. We'll be all right when we get in Kansas City.
Maybe that's the best thing to do. I don't know. I want to get it all settled, oh, I know that, and get back to work.
Well, we can catch that 5 o'clock train to Kansas this afternoon. Be in Kansas City early in the morning. We can set up and guard one another.
Yeah, well, we save expenses that way, guarding one another. But I don't know much about such as that,
Well, all you have to do, somebody tries to take the diamonds away from us, you just throw a ration hold on them and hold them until the news butcher, the conductor, comes and helps us tie 'em up.
A wrestling hold?
Yeah. I was looking at a book here this morning, Abner, The Art of Self-Defense. I had it laying around here for 3 or 4 years. It tells all about how to protect yourself when somebody jumps on you that way.
How to protect yourself?
You know what to do if somebody bigger and stouter than you are jumps on you.
Well, I don't need no book to tell me what to do. Just start out running as fast as you can.
Yeah, but you can't run from somebody on a train. No, well, you can, but just back to the end of the train, and then they'll have you cornered.
Well, what does that book say to do? Jump off the back end?
No, well, here. Put it right here on the table. Reading all about them Ju-Jitsu holds this morning. Them's the best, I think.
There, huh?
Yeah, it shows you how to throw a feller twice your size clean over your head.
For the land's sake. Oh, I'd like to know how to do that anyway. Maybe I'd stand more of a chance in my arguments with Elizabeth, sling her over my head a couple of times.
Yeah. Wait a minute, let me see.
She's pretty stout, though.
Here it is, right here. Ju-Jitsu made simple.
Huh?
That's what it says up the top of the page here.
Oh. Well, what them pictures are?
Pictures of fellers using these Ju-Jitsu holds.
They must have been in an awful big hurry to get them pictures made. Never even give them time to dress.
They're dressed.
They got on their long underwear.
Well, that's what they wear when they do this Ju-Jitsu stuff.
Well, we ain't going to wear an outfit like that on a train to Kansas City, are we?
No, they just wear them outfits when they're doing that Ju-Jitsu.
Well, when the feller's jumping on you, he ain't going to give you time to strip down like that before you start fighting.
Well, you don't have to dress like that, Abner.
Well, I'd feel embarrassed to death. Climb on a train, dress like that, just my hat and hand satchel.
Well, you don't have to, so quit worrying about it.
No, if you do, I will too. I'll stick by you. But I know we'll never live it down, Lum.
Abner, I told
I'll
you
tell you what we can do, Lum. We can wear long overcoats to where it wouldn't look so bad. We could get out of them pretty quick if somebody jumps on us.
Well, maybe nobody won't jump on us.
I don't know. I don't believe a fella could ride on a train in an outfit like that from here to Kansas City without having at least one fight. You know somebody's going to make a remark about you, Lum.
Abner, we ain't going to dress like that. Them's professional wrestlers. Get paid for it.
They couldn't pay me enough to go around dressed like that all the time.
Well, just forget about how we're going to dress. Let's practice these holds. Here's one called throwing an opponent over the head.
Who?
Opponent.
Huh?
Says,
Don't know him.
first seize left wrist of adversary, then raise your left foot against the thigh of adversary's right leg.
That's a pretty good trick. Who is adversary?
That's you.
Huh?
Here, give me your left hand.
Listen.
Yeah. Now, in the same instant, hop as close to opponent as possible. That's me doing the hopping, of course.
Yeah, well, who's that opponent, though?
I said that's you.
No, you said I was adversary. Well, why don't we just use my right name, Lum? I can't recollect all them fancy names.
Now, says for me to hold tightly with my right foot still in place and throw myself over backwards.
Well, you're wrestling yourself, or you don't need me.
Carry opponent with you.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, now, here we go.
All right, now don't pull too hard now, Lum. Wait a minute now. Look out, get your... I know that your heart sure is pounding, Lum.
Wait a minute, that ain't my heart. That's somebody at the door. We better hide. That might be Mr. Devereaux right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, Mr. Lum.
Oh, wait a minute. That's Cedric, Lum.
Oh, come in, Cedric.
Oh, I got a special delivery letter for you, Mr. Lum.
For me? Hi, Granny's. Maybe it's from Miss Barrington.
Huh?
Hi, Granny's, it is, Abner. It's from Kansas City.
It is?
Yes, sir. After 5 days, return to Miss J. Simpson Barrington.
Oh, the letter, yeah.
It's her, Abner. I knowed she'd write me when she seen that picture of me. Oh, love always wins out. That's an old lettered saying of mine. I told you the minute I heard that name that me and her was just meant for one another. Miss J. Simpson Barrington. That's the prettiest girl's name I ever heard. Love has found a way.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Lum received his anxiously awaited letter from Mrs. Barrington in Kansas City. A great deal depends on that letter. If Mrs. Barrington says the jewels they found in the secret compartment of the box of insurance papers are hers, then they can return them to her and put the police on the trail of the man who calls himself Mr. Devereaux. If not, well, let's look in on the little community today and see what the old fellows have figured out by this time. We find Abner at Lum's house, still hiding out. Listen.
Well, I just come by to see whether we was going to open up a store today or keep on hiding out.
I don't care what you do. Open it up, leave it closed, hide out, or go out and open. I don't even care. Fact is, I don't care for nothing. Granny's, for 2 cents, I'd run off from home and join the Navy. Go up in the mountains and hermit myself.
Well, what in the world is the matter with you? Ever since you got that letter yesterday, you've been as grouchy as an old wet-setting hen.
There ain't nothing wrong with me. I've just lost all interest in everything. All I can see is black clouds overhead.
Black clouds? Why, the sun's shining as bright as I ever seen it.
Not for me, it ain't. Not for me.
Well, you just can't see it here in the house, Lum, with all the shades drawn. Is that the reason you don't want to go outside, feared it's going to rain?
No, I mean the sun ain't shining for me no more.
Well, I don't know who it's shining for, but it's shining. I believe that letter you got from Miss Barrington yesterday has got you all upset, Lum.
I told you 1,000 or 100 times that letter ain't got a thing in the world to do with it.
Well, what all did that letter say, Lum?
I told you. Just said the diamonds never belonged to her.
Oh, it said more than that, I know. I could see there's a lot more writing that you never read out loud on there. When you wrote her the letter telling her we thought we had her diamonds, why, you put a picture of yourself in the letter. Didn't she say nothing about that?
I don't recollect what she said.
Well, you still got the letter. Let me read it.
That was private, personal mail, Abner.
Oh. Well, when are you and her going to get married?
Well, to be honest, we might not get married. I about decided to break off the engagement.
Break it off? Why, I never even knowed you was engaged yet.
It's the best time to break 'em off, before you get involved. I've got too many responsibilities to think about getting married anyway. Got the bank and the store down there to look after and all.
Well, I'm married and I work down there long.
Yeah, but you ain't president of it. And she ain't nearly as pretty as I thought she was, no way.
Oh, that's the reason you're acting this way. She put a picture of herself in that letter, huh?
No, but I could tell by the handwriting what she looks like.
Handwriting? Oh, she described herself. What'd she look like, Lum?
Abner, will you quit talking about the letter? The main thing right now is we know we got them diamonds, and we know they wasn't stole from her. More than like they belonged to Mr. Devereaux, the fellow that left them here in the first place.
Well, let's just give them back to him and get the thing over with.
Well, I would if I knowed where he was at. But we're into it now. He left that box with us for safekeeping, and we taken the diamonds out of it and kept them and sent the box back to him. That's just out-and-out stealing.
Well, we thought they were stole, old Lum. That's the reason we taken them now.
Yeah, but how you going to explain that to him? Can't tell him we thought he stole them.
No.
As soon as he finds out they ain't in the box, he'll more than likely show up with a couple of policemen and have us arrested.
Oh, my goodness.
We're fugitives from justice right now.
Well, why don't we just take them diamonds right into the county seat and turn them over to the police before they accuse us of it? That'll show them we're trying to be honest. Then they can give them back to Mr. Devereaux.
I don't want to have a thing in the world to do with the police.
Well, why?
Why? Well, I just don't want to.
I'll be dead blamed if I can figure out what's wrong with you, Lum. You ain't been yourself ever since you got that letter. I don't know who you are, but you ain't yourself. I believe you're just so much in love, you're losing your reasoning.
Abner, please don't mention that word love again. I ain't interested in women no more. Never was. I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, huh?
Just give me a dog and a pipe and a fishing pole and let me sit by the side of the road and be a friend to man.
Fishing by the side of the road? Oh, down there at the crossing on Briar Creek, huh? Well, you ain't going to catch no fish along there long. Them cars going through there so much keeps them scared out. Now, if you go up the creek about a quarter to where that big ledge of rock...
Abner, I ain't interested in fishing.
Well, you said give you a dog. You could go hunting there in the bottoms, but you'd need a gun instead of that fishing pole on. What kind of dog did you want?
I don't want no dog at all.
You just said you did.
I was just trying to tell you I wanted to be left alone. Granny, from now on, I'm going to travel life's road by myself. He travels fastest who travels alone. I've always said that. It's an old lettered saying of mine.
Is that the reason you don't want me to go to Kansas City with you?
Is what the reason?
'Cause you think you can travel faster by yourself. Why, that train could carry both of us just as fast as it could one.
I never said nothing about a train.
Well, a car will, too. Two fellers in there to run just as fast. Of course, now a bicycle wouldn't. You had to put me on the handlebars and pedal it by yourself. But why couldn't we both get a bicycle on?
For goodness sakes.
That's an awful long ways to ride a bicycle, though. But if you want to go, I'll try once.
Abner, if I was going to Kansas City, I'd take the train, but
Well, now, it won't slow it down none for me to go with you then. See, Lum, them trains has got steam engines on them.
They have, huh?
Why, sure, they don't pedal in them like they do a bicycle.
Well.
They build a big fire up there in a boiler, get the water hot, and you make that steam, and that's what makes a train run. Why, I bet the engineer wouldn't hardly know it if I was on there. Them engines is awful stout, Lum.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you explained that to me.
Oh, that's all right. I'm proud to do it. Did you think the engineer and foreman pedaled a train?
Woman, Abner, you get some of the craziest ideas in your head of anybody I ever seen in my life.
I get 'em. Well, you're the one that thought they pedaled a train. Don't you know? You said...
Just let it go. I ain't going to Kansas City on a train, bicycle, or car, or by myself, or with nobody.
Let's see now. Doggy, that's a hard one. Ain't going on a train or a bicycle or a car. And you ain't going by yourself or with somebody. Doggy, that's a hard riddle, Lum. Oh, you're going horseback. Is that the right answer?
I ain't going at all, and it ain't no riddle.
Well, you ought to go up there and see her, Lum. No use to break Miss Barrington's heart. Just a second now. What did she say in that letter, Lum? Did she say she'd taken one look at that picture and fell in love with you?
If you mention love one more time, I'm going to whop you right on top of the head with something.
Well, you've been saying she'd fall in love with you when she seen that picture.
Well, quit worrying about that letter. If you want to worry about something, you better be worrying about that feller Devereaux coming out here and having us arrested for stealing his diamonds.
Well, can they send us to the penitentiary for that?
Why, of course they can. Just the same as breaking into a jewelry store and taking them. We've got a sack full of diamonds in our possession that don't belong to us.
Well, I still think we ought to take them into the county seat and turn them over to the police.
No, we're not going to do no such a thing.
Well, why?
Well, we just can't, that's all.
Just tell them the whole story. We accidentally found them and thought they stole and figured we was doing the right thing by keeping them here.
There's reasons, though, why that won't work.
Well, we can't go on this way long, keeping the store and the bank closed up, losing customers every day. Now, I don't care what you want to do. I'm going to call the police in there at the county seat and tell them to come out here. Then we can just tell the whole story, and I'll bet you they'll turn us loose.
No, we ain't neither.
Yes, I am, too. I ain't going to let myself get sent to the penitentiary when I ain't did nothing.
Get away from that telephone, Abner.
I'm going to call them right now.
Well, wait a minute now, Abner. Let's talk this thing over.
I don't want to talk it over.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. There's a good reason why we don't want the police to know about this.
What kind of a reason?
Well, if you want to know the truth, I can't let the police see me. Here. You've been wanting to know what was in this letter I got yesterday. I'll read it to you.
Oh, well, now, she's making love to you in there. You don't have to read it long. I know it's embarrassing, her calling you a lot of love names.
Well, you'll understand when you hear why I have to hide out. It starts out here, Mr. Lum Edwards, Pine Ridge, Arkansas. Dear Sir.
Well.
The jewels you referred to in your letter are not mine. However, I thank you very much for your trouble in forwarding this information.
Well, you read that much to me yesterday, Lum.
No, I'm going to read the rest of it, too.
Oh.
My secretary has taken the picture of the jewel thief which you enclosed.
Picture of a jewel thief? Did you put a picture of a robber in there, too?
No, she's made a mistake. That's that picture of me she's talking about.
Oh.
Picture of the jewel thief and turned it over to the police. I'm sure they will apprehend this criminal very soon. And I know we will all rest easier when he is captured. One look at his picture tells you that he is a very desperate character. Thanking you very much, I am respectfully yours, Ms. J. Simpson Barrington. There. That's that love letter I was waiting for so long.
Well, I'll be dead blamed.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner.
Let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum is in a bad spot right now. First, because he's found out that the jewels they took out of Mr. Devereaux's safety deposit box were not stolen from Mrs. Barrington after all. And second, because Mrs. Barrington turned the picture of Lum which he sent her over to the police. She thought it was a picture of the jewel thief Lum mentioned in his letter. As we look in on the little community today, we find that Abner has reopened the Jot 'em Down store. Cedric is just entering. Listen.
Well, come in, Cedric. Come in.
Oh, is the store open today, Mr. Abner?
Why, sure it is.
Well, how about the bank? Is it open too?
Oh, yeah, everything's open.
Well, whereabouts is my money I put in the bank?
Why, over there in the safe.
Oh, good. Can I draw it out?
Why, yeah, I reckon so, if you want it, Cedric.
Oh, well, if I can get it, I don't believe I want it. Luke Spears has been telling me he thought the bank had went busted. Said he bet I wouldn't get my money.
Well, now, where do you reckon he got such an idea as that in his head?
Well, I don't know. You've been closed up for 3 or 4 days around here, and nobody ain't seen you. Luke figured you and Mr. Lum had taken all the money and left town. That's what he said.
No, we's right here in town all the time. Don't say nothing about it, Cedric, but we was hiding out.
Hiding out?
Yeah.
What was you hiding from?
Oh, well, it was Lum's idea. He's got it in his head that the police is looking for him.
Police?
Yeah, we found some diamonds in a box that a feller by the name of Devereaux left here in the bank for safekeeping, and we figured that they were stole jewels.
Oh, yes, Mom, I heard about that.
Well, fact is, Lum thought they stole from a woman up in Kansas City, a Mrs. J. Simpson Barrington, I believe her name was. And Lum read her letter and asked her about it and put a picture of himself in the letter.
Oh, that's the woman he was telling me about being in love with. Said he was going to marry her.
Oh, yeah, I know he's talking that around. Thought he's in love with her and never had even saw her.
Well, he was telling me he was going to marry her and retire himself because she was rich.
Yeah, well, he's changed his mind about all that now. She thought that picture he put in there of himself was a picture the feller stole some diamonds and turned it over to the police and told them to be on the lookout for him. So now, natural Lum thinks the police is after him.
Well, maybe they are, too.
Yeah, maybe so. But he can't just spend the rest of his life hiding out. Oh, he's thought about it so much, he just got himself the same as in the penitentiary right now.
Well, he ain't done nothing wrong, though, has he, Mr. Abner?
Well, no, not nothing exactly wrong, Cedric, but it does look bad. See, that feller Devereaux sent after that box that he left here, and we had the diamonds out of it. Was aiming on taking them back to Miss Barrington. And now that we found out they ain't hers, why, Lum's just afraid that Mr. Devereaux will have him arrested for stealing.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't you never breathe that to a soul, old Cedric.
Oh, Mom, I won't. Cross my heart.
And Lum figures that if that Mr. Devereaux looks in the box and finds out the diamonds is gone, why, he's liable to come back down here looking for him, packing firearms.
I hope I ain't in here when he comes.
Oh, well, I ain't scared. I don't think. Don't believe he'd just come in here and start shooting without asking some questions, surely. We got the diamonds right here for him if we knowed where he's at.
Well, ain't Mr. Lum going to work down here at the store no more?
I don't know. I sort of doubt it, Cedric. He was talking last night about running away from home and joining the Foreign Legion.
Well, for goodness sakes. What's the Foreign Legion?
Well, that's what he called it. I don't know exactly what it is myself. Some sort of a legion, I reckon. Foreign Legion's all I know he called it. It's sort of an army of some kind, I think, off summers. In Africa, I believe he said it was. Someplace, anyway, where they go when they want to forget things.
Have to go clean to Africa to forget something?
I reckon so.
I can forget right here in Pine Ridge. All us forgetting something.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Yonder Lum's coming yonder now.
Was that Mr. Lum?
Why, sure.
He sure growed himself a crop of whiskers in the last few days, ain't he?
Oh, them's just glued on there, Cedric. That's part of that old Santa Claus outfit he uses over at the schoolhouse every year. He thinks he's fooling somebody.
Why, sure. Everybody knows it ain't Christmas.
Oh, well, he ain't trying to look like Santa Claus. He's just trying to disguise himself to where he don't look like himself, I reckon.
Well, I can tell that's him far as I can see.
Yeah, but, of course, he don't look like that picture of himself that he sent that Miss Barrington she gave to the police. That's the main reason he disguised him.
Yeah, but I'd know him anywhere.
I tell you, Cedric, let's have some fun out of it.
Fun out of it?
Yeah, let's let on like we don't know him.
Yes, Mom.
It'll just tickle him plumb to death if he thinks he's fooled us. I'll make him admit it before it's over, though. You watch me. All right, find out here it is. Now, don't let on now, Cedric.
No, I won't.
Well, come in, sir. Come in.
Yeah, morning.
You're a stranger around here, ain't you?
Yeah. First time I was ever in this town.
Well,
What's the name of it?
Pine Ridge.
Well, I do know. Right cute name for a little town.
Whereabouts are you from?
Well, don't tell it around, but I'm a city feller from New York.
New York. Well, that's a cute name for a town. Yes, it is. What kind of business are you in?
What kind of business?
Yeah, what do you do for a living?
Gold mining mostly. Sell 14-karat solid gold. The only thing I fool with.
Well, where's your mine located at?
I told you once, New York City.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Abner Peabody is my name.
Lewis is my name, Mr. Lewis.
Lewis? Well, I used to know a Lewis over at Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill?
Yeah.
Well, that ain't me.
Oh, no, he was a little bitty short feller.
Oh, well, I know it ain't me then.
Yeah, well, shake hands with Mr. Weehunt here.
Yeah, pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Weehunt.
Howdy. This is fun, ain't it?
Are you going to be here long, Mr. Lewis?
I don't know. Just sort of sloshing around like water in a barrel. Got tired of that city life up there. I've always wanted to see what country people is like.
Well, Lord me, I can show you some of the biggest country jakes lives in this town you ever seen.
You can, huh?
Yeah, one fella in particular. I used to have a partner here in the store, Lum and Abner. Now, if you want to see somebody backwoodsy, you ought to have seen him.
He's awful ignorant.
You keep out of this.
Yes, Mom.
What was the gentleman's name again?
Why, Columbus Edwards is his full name, but we call him Lum.
That ain't his name, no such a thing, and you know it. He changed it to Lum.
How do you know?
Well, I know. I've heard of it. Columbus. Anybody that name a young'un that ought to be shot.
Well, what are you getting so riled up about, Mr. Lewis?
Well, I just don't like the name. I knowed a feller named that once, and his partner promised him by all that was good and bad that he'd never call him that as long as he lived.
I said I wouldn't call him Columbus to his face.
Mr. Weehunt, don't you never mention that to so. I don't think Mr. Edwards would like for anybody to know that was his name.
No, I ain't going to say nothing.
Some varmints you can't trust to keep a secret no more.
Well, I never thought about you getting mad about it, Mr. Lewis.
Just let it go. This Lum Edwards you're talking about, I understand he's a pretty nice feller.
No, I don't know. I'd go so far as to say that.
He ain't here no more. He's joined the American Legion and went to Africa.
Foreign Legion, Cedric.
I've heard that he's an awful nice feller, though. Big business typhoon. He's well thought of there in New York, I know that.
Yeah, well, you could think well of him, that fur off. He'd be all right if he didn't steal so bad.
Steal?
Yeah, that's the reason he left the country, stole a batch of diamonds.
I wouldn't say such as that about somebody unless I knowed for sure.
Well, the diamonds is right over there in that safe to prove it. He stole them out of a box that was left here. Oh, I've known for years that he'd steal. Or two. We've been partners here in the store. No telling how much stuff he's carried out of this store, and I never knowed nothing about it.
Carried stuff out of the store?
Wait a minute, here comes Grandpappy Spears.
I don't care who's coming in. I ain't going to stand here.
Well, come in, Grandpa.
Well, howdy. How are you today, Abner?
Oh, just fine.
How are you, Lum? Oh, all right, I reckon, Grandpa. What was that you said about Mr. Edwards carrying stuff out of the... wait a minute here. How'd you know who I was, Grandpa? How did I know? Oh, them whiskers. Yeah, they do change you up a little, Lum. Believe they'll be coming to you. Here, though, here's a telegram that come down there at Dick Huddleston's store for you. Telegram? Yeah, they said I better bring it right over. It might be something important. Well, thank you, Grandpap. Hi, Grannies, I want to talk to you, Abner, quick as I get done reading this.
Well, now, we was just joshing along. We knowed who you was.
That don't make no difference. Grannies, you've done went too far with... Wait a minute here. Oh, my goodness. Listen to this.
Huh?
L. Edwards, Pine Ridge, Arkansas. Sack of jewels missing from box. Will be in Pine Ridge tomorrow to see you, 3 o'clock. Be there. Signed, Devereaux.
Granny's, Abner. I believe that's our ring.
Doggy's Lum, I believe you're right.
I'll see.
Hello, jot 'em down, store. This is Lum and Abner.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Yesterday, Lum received a telegram stating that the man named Devereaux had discovered the jewels were missing from his box of insurance papers and that he would arrive in Pine Ridge at 3 o'clock today. As we look in on the little community today, we find 2 very worried old fellows preparing for Mr. Devereaux's visit. Listen.
What time is it, Abner?
I just told you not 2 minutes ago. It's 10 minutes after 2.
Grannies, I never seen time hang on like this in my life. Looks like 3 o'clock never will get here.
Doggy, I hope it don't. I hope that Mr. Devereaux is late.
Grannies, I don't. I want him to get here and get it over with. If he's going to shoot me or turn me over to the police or whatever he's aiming on doing to me, I want him to hurry up and get it over with.
Well, I wish you'd calm yourself down, Lum. You're just as nervous and jumpy as a rabbit's nose.
Well, it ain't easy to be calm when you're a hunted man. You know the bloodhounds is closing in on you.
Bloodhounds? That telegram never said anything about bloodhounds.
No, but they generally turn 'em loose if the criminal's a pretty desperate man like me.
All he said was that the jewels was missing from that box, and he's coming down here to see about 'em.
Yeah, but did you notice how he said it? Listen to this. I've read it over a dozen times. Sack of jewels missing from box. Will be in Pine Ridge tomorrow to see you. 3 o'clock. Be there. Signed, Devereaux. I don't like the way he says that. Be there.
Well, how do you know how Devereaux said it? You never heard him. You just read it in that telegram.
That's right, ain't it?
Sure.
Just the same, I know what he meant by it, though. I wished he'd never left that box here for safekeeping in the first place. I'll guarantee you one thing. That's the last time I ever take anything for safekeeping for anybody. I wouldn't look after a box of wet soda crackers for anybody now.
You won't get a chance if you're going to the penitentiary.
If I'm going... Recollect, you're into this as much as I am. You helped take them diamonds out of that box.
It weren't my idea, though. You was the one that thought it up.
Well, you went around here for days trying to get me to open that box. See what was in it.
Well, you're the president of the bank, though.
That don't make no difference. If I'm guilty, you're guilty, too. You're access to a crime.
Oh, my goodness. What time is it?
You've got to watch.
12 minutes after 2.
Are you sure that watch is running?
Yeah, I can hear it ticking. It does seem like it's awful slow, though.
Grannies, I'm going to be a nervous wreck by the time he gets here. I know how a feller must feel when he's got to go to the electric chair. It's that waiting that gets you.
Yeah, Mom, I was just thinking, now, we still got time. Ain't no use to just sit here and wait for Devereaux to walk in and shoot us. Why don't we slip out of town and go join that Fern Legion we was talking about yesterday?
Well, the police are going to catch us sooner or later. I hate the idea of always being a hunted man.
Well, I don't see no sense in just sitting here and being shot. Why don't we get a gun and shoot it out with him?
No, we're liable to kill somebody. If we done that, we never would get out of the penitentiary. Lock us up and throw the keys away.
Yeah, we ain't got a chance. If he don't shoot us, why, they'll more than likely send us to the penitentiary, stuck either way.
I was just thinking here, Abner. Maybe if we'd confessed to it, they'd let us off easier.
Yeah, if they'll stop long enough to listen.
Yeah, that's the trouble. Come in here shooting right and left before we get a chance to explain. Hi, Grannies, wait a minute, though. Why don't we call the sheriff at the county seat and confess to him? Then he can come out here and arrest us, and there won't be no shooting. By the time Devereaux gets here, we'll be safe locked up in jail.
Well, I don't know about that, Mom. If I'm going to jail, I would love to get a nice trip out of it. Hate to just go as far as the county seat.
Well, we got to make up our mind before Devereaux gets here.
Well, how long a sentence you reckon they'll give us, Lum?
Well, that's just it. I believe by giving ourselves up this way, they'll let us off light for being honest.
Will, huh?
Maybe 5 years. And more than likely take some off of that for good behavior.
Oh, well, I'll behave myself. Take off my hat in the house.
In the house? You ain't going to be in no house.
Well, in jail, then. Say thank you and not put my elbows on the table.
Well, don't you think that's the best thing to do?
I don't know. Whatever you think. I just hate to confess to something I never done.
Well, we never meant to be stealing, but we did take the jewels out of the box. According to law, we're just as guilty as if we'd have broke in someplace and got them.
Yeah. Well, I reckon that's the thing to do, all right, then, Lum.
We've got to make up our minds. Get him out here before Devereaux gets here.
Yeah, well, go ahead, call him. Just tell him to hurry and get out here.
Glad I thought of this.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Hello, Mamie. Ring me the sheriff's office in there at the county seat, please, Mom. All right. I grant it might be all right if just one of us taking all the blame for this, Abner.
Just one of us.
Yeah, and I could stay here and run the bank and store till you got back. Or wait a minute, though. I don't want to be here when that fella Devereaux comes.
Oh, no, me neither. Let
down at Carthage, Missouri. But anyway, Dick
Hello?
Lewis, the vice president of the Garcia Corporation,
Is this the sheriff's office?
says it's spring.
Why,
and
this
an
is
angler
Lum
slips
Eddard
off
down at
the
Pine
Chinese
Ridge.
tackle box. And then he
Yeah.
goes into great
Why,
lengths.
me and Abner Peabody want to make a confess to you and give ourselves
Bed
up.
early and send your wife off to movies and cover the dining room
For
table with
stealing.
paper and empty the contents of your tackle box.
Diamonds. No, diamonds like they put in diamond rings. Yeah, stole a whole sack full of them. No, this ain't no joke. We got the diamonds right here to prove it.
He won't believe nobody that's doubting Tom.
Yes, sir. Well, I just wondering if you could come out here right quick and arrest us. Well, we'll wait for you right here at the Jot 'em Down store. Yes, sir. You better be here before 3 o'clock, though. We might not be here after that. Yeah, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Oh, you can make it if you hurry. Well, good. Aye, Granny's, I'll vote for you next election, if we're out by that time. Not at all, not at all. Much obliged to you. All right, sir. Goodbye. Said he'd be right out.
Well, what do you mean that we might not be here after 3 o'clock, Lum?
That's when Devereaux's coming out.
Oh, dog it, I hope the sheriff gets here in time.
Oh, he can make it all right if he starts right away. I just hope that Devereaux ain't early.
Dog it, I wish we'd have called the sheriff this morning.
Yeah, that's what we ought to done.
I expect I better call up Elizabeth and tell her I won't be home for supper tonight. How long did you say we'd be gone?
About 5 years.
Well, I thought you said I'd get some time off for saying thank you and taking off my hat.
Well, I don't know for sure what they'll give us. I'm just guessing.
Well, if we're going to be gone that long, well, I expect I better go over the place and tell Elizabeth and little Pearl goodbye then, Lum.
Well, why don't you wait till the sheriff gets here and we can have him drive us by there? Save you walking.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hadn't thought about that.
I reckon there's a few things we ought to take along with us.
Well, they furnish clothes, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Have them striped suits.
Yeah, that's right. I'd forgot about them things. Whoever picked them out sure never had good taste for clothes. Or that is, according to my notions on it. Now, Tom Medford's boy come back from the pen, wore his suit around town here for about a year. I never did think it looked nice on him, though.
Somebody said he was back in again now.
No, he never went back over to Little Rock. I think he's in Leavenworth this time, way up in Kansas summer. I was talking to Tom about him one day last week, and he said the boy's mom was awful worried about him. She got a hearing from him the other day, and he ain't at all satisfied up there.
Well, don't be talking about penitentiaries, Abner. That's
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
My goodness, how do you do, Mr. Devereaux? We got your diamonds right in the safe waiting for you.
Well, that's fine. I was afraid I might have lost them someplace else.
Yeah, well, get the diamonds for him out of the safe, Abner.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, if we'd have known how to get in touch with you, we'd have brung them to you, Mr. Devereaux.
Well, to be honest, I rather suspicioned the man I sent for the box might have taken them. But I didn't want to accuse him of it until I could talk with you.
Yeah.
They're not of any particular great value, but about all I have left. You see, my wife is divorcing me, and I hid these out so that she wouldn't get everything I had.
Here you are, Mr. Devereaux. There's everyone right there in this sack.
Well, thank you. I suppose I should explain. My name isn't Devereaux. I only used that name so that my wife and her attorney couldn't trace where I'd left them.
Yeah.
My name is Malcolm Kilgore. I've been in the jewelry business in Kansas City for years.
Oh, I see. Well, I wondered.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate very much your honesty. I hope I can do as much for you someday.
Not at all, sir. I'm just glad you got the diamonds back. You better look in the sack to be sure they're all there.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I was satisfied of your honesty before I ever left them here. Well, good day, gentlemen, and thanks again.
You're welcome, sir, and come back to see us.
Yes, sir, anytime.
Well, I'll be dead, blame. Granny, he's a nice feller, ain't he?
Yes, sir, and here we get scared plumb to death.
Oh, Granny, this is the happiest day of my... wait a minute, though.
Huh?
What about that sheriff?
Sheriff?
We confessed to stealing some diamonds, and he's on his way out here to arrest us. He'll never believe this story in 1,000.
Granny, Abner, I believe that's our ring.
Doggy's Lum, I believe you're right.
I'll see. Hello, jot 'em down, store. This is Lum and Abner.
And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner's bank is now a thing of the past. Only the wire enclosure, partitioned off for the bank, remains as mute evidence of the great financial institution that so recently held their interest. As we look in on the little community today, we find the two old fellows still trying to decide what to do with the partition. Listen.
Yeah, well, of course, I thought we'd make some money out of the bank, or I never would have went into it.
Well, I did, too. Way you was talking around here about how rich all them banking fellers was, dressing up, wearing Sunday suits every day, and big fine automobiles and everything.
Yeah, I reckon it was a mistake. Looks like every time we go into a business where we think we're going to get rich, we wind up losing money.
Yes, sir. Lum, I believe this store here is the only thing that me and you has ever went into together that we ever made any money out of.
Yeah. Of course, we never will get rich, but we're always managed to make a living out of it.
Yeah, we live, eat.
Looks like the grass is always greenest in the other pasture.
Yeah, well, we always managed it.
Huh?
Yeah, what was that you said about grass?
Oh, no, I just said the grass in the other pasture always looks the greenest.
Well, how come you to get off on that? I thought we was talking about the store here.
I am talking about the store. I say we ought to stay in the store business, but the bank looked greener to us.
Green? The bank?
No, the bank wasn't green. The grass in the other pasture.
Oh. You weren't talking about the bank, huh?
Well, yes and no.
Well, which?
Well, I was talking about the bank, but I was just using that old lettered saying of mine about the grass in the other pastures always looks the greenest.
Well, how come you to ever start such a saying as that?
Well, because it does.
You mean if I was in that pasture over there across from my place, and I looked in the one next to it, the grass would look greener?
Why, sure. It always does.
Well, what if I was in the other? Then what?
Well, it's always the other, regardless.
Well, that's a new one on me. Sitting there on my front porch, they both look the same color.
Well, they are the same color.
I thought you said the other one was greener than the other.
No, I say when you get in one pasture, the other one always looks the greenest.
Well, I don't see how just getting in one of them would change the color of it.
Well, it don't, just getting in it.
You said it did.
I never said no secret.
Did, done it.
I said it looks greener. Didn't you ever see a cow or a horse in a pasture? They're always right up against the fence, mightn't I, pushing it down to get to the grass on the other side.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've saw them do that all right. Yeah, Stock's awful bad about that.
Well, did you ever stop to figure out why they done that?
No, don't reckon I ever did. I just allowed the grass must look greener to them over there.
Well, that's just exactly what I've been talking about.
No, you never, neither. You said it looked greener to me. You never seen me trying to push the fence over to get to the grass on the other side, did you?
No, I said that's the reason we opened up the bank here in the store. I mean, I thought we'd make more money out of the bank than we would out of the store. You see, when I say grass, I mean money.
Well, the next time I owe you any money, then I'll just pay you back with a handful of grass. That's what I'll do.
For goodness sakes, will you please quit talking about the grass?
Well, you started. You said...
I know what I said. Instead of sitting here arguing, we ought to be deciding what we're going to do with that petition, where the bank was at over there. Leave it up or tear it down?
Well, I was in favor of tearing it down, but if you want to plant some grass in it, why, it's all right with me, Lum.
Plant grass in it?
Yeah.
How are we going to plant grass on a bare board floor that way?
Oh, well, natural, we'd have to get some dirt in here, 3 or 4 wagon loads of dirt. Keep it watered.
Wait a minute here. Granny, say that again.
Well, I just said we'd have to move some dirt in there and keep it watered good.
Now, Grannies, I believe you give me an idea there, Abner.
Idea?
Yes, sir. You know what we can do? Here, we've been trying to study up some business to go into here. There's one right there.
Well, I thought you said we was going to stay in the store business from now on.
We are. I'm talking about something we can run right in the store here. Another department.
Well, what is it?
A nursery.
Nursery?
Yes, sir. There's good money in that business, too. Especially around Christmas and Easter and Valentine's Day. And that cage is just right up there in front of the window there. There'll be plenty of sunshine and everything.
Well, yeah, sure, they'll get plenty of sun, Lum, but they need fresh air. That's what they need.
Yeah, but we'll have to keep them inside so they won't freeze during the winter.
Well, all right. Do you think we'll sell any?
Why, they sell them all over the country.
Oh, they don't, Lum.
Hey, they do done it.
They don't do it. The Stark brings them.
The what?
The Stark brings them.
Brings what?
Babies.
Who said anything about babies?
You said you want to put in a nursery.
Oh, for goodness sake. I'm talking
now,
about
if you think I'm going to stay down here at the store and look after a bunch of young'uns all day long, you got another guest coming. I love children.
Abner,
I think the world and all.
I'm talking about putting a bunch of flowers and plants in there.
Flowers? Well, you better put them a bunch of toys in there. That's what you better do. Why, a bunch of young'uns will pull them flowers up by the roots as fast as you put them in there, Lum.
I know that.
That little boy, Mamie Phillips, was over at our place not long ago. His mama brung him over. Elizabeth was having a quilting party there, and she come over to help him along on it. Brung that little boy of hers along with her. And before she knowed it, he had half the flowers on the place pulled up.
Well, I ain't talking about Mamie Phillips' little boy.
Well, that little girl of Frank Forster's is just as bad, Lum. That young'un come over to our place, and the first thing I knowed, she had the wood, all the wood thrown down in the well, had all the flowers pulled up, and her mama was in the house. Elizabeth never knowed a thing about it, and she come out there, and there was everything laying right out on the ground, flowers up by the roots, the wood in the well.
Just forget about the whole thing, Abner.
No, sir, now, I'm just trying to point out to you some of the drawbacks to your idea. But, of course, Lum, I know how you love children. And if you want them, doggies, we'll have them.
No, we won't do no such a thing.
Yes, we will, too, now. I don't blame you not one bit in the world, not one bit. You never had no children of your own like me, and now if you want to keep a batch of them down here in the store, why, it's perfect all right with me. How much was you going to charge your mamas and papas to leave them here?
How much was I going to charge them?
Yeah, to leave them in the nursery.
Nothing. I never
well,
even had
now,
any...
Lum, we can't make no money out of it that way now. I'd like to start it, Lum, just to please you. Do anything you want to. But that'll cost a right smart of money feeding all them children and taking care of them if they're going to be here all day.
Hey, wait a minute. Will you listen to me just a minute? The kind of nursery I'm talking about is to put a greenhouse in where the bank's at.
Build a house inside the store just for the children to play in?
A greenhouse, I say.
I don't care what color you paint it, Lum. We can't afford to build no house for them youngers to play in and then let them play there free.
Grannies, that's enough. I'm going over to talk to Dick Huddleston about this.
Well, he ain't got no children. Well, not no little bitty one.
Well, I want to talk to him about the flowers.
Well, I told you they'll ruin them, Lum.
I'll be back directly. Here comes Cedric Weehunt. Exasperate him for a while.
Yeah, all right. I reckon what he meant by that.
Yeah, howdy, Cedric.
Howdy, Mr. Lum. Whereabouts is Mr. Abner at?
He's sitting back there talking to himself.
Come in, Cedric.
Yeah. Howdy, Mr. Abner. I just got back in town a while ago. Paul said you was looking for me yesterday evening, wanting me to go deer hunting with you.
Oh, yeah, I was, Cedric. Went down there to the blacksmith shop looking for you, but we never went.
Never went?
No, some friend of Lum's wanted to go, but he never did show up. And, sir, I never could get Lum to explain why he never. I'll tell you, Cedric, that Lum is getting some of the craziest ideas in his head lately I ever seen.
He is, huh?
Yes, sir. You know what he wants to do now?
No, Mama. I never talked to him very long there at the door just now. Just
Well-
said how to do, Mr. Lum's, all I said.
He wants to put in a nursery over there in the corner of the store where we had the bank.
Nursery?
Yeah. Have everybody bring their babies down here and leave them here at the store for us to take care of.
Well, you ain't going to do it, are you?
Yes, sir. I'm going to do it, Cedric. Lum just loves children. Never goes no place where they have him that he ain't trotting one on his knee all the time he's there.
Yes, Mom, I know he likes them. Always
yeah.
carries gum and candy and stuff in his pocket for them.
Yeah.
They all like him, too.
Oh, my, yes. He'll be a good one to look after him. We can't make no money at it, but he's got his heart set on it, and I'm going to surprise him, Cedric. Tell you what we'll do. Have you got your car with you?
Yes, Mom, it's right out there in front.
Well, now, I'll make an announcement over the party line, tell them all to get ready, and you take your car and go around and gather up all the children, and by the time he gets back, we'll have a whole store of them here waiting for him. I know if he wants a nursery, we'll have it.